Super Bowl 48. Fox 16 News at 9 starts now.
Stephen, do you have anything you want to say? Did you kill that person? Why do police have you in handcuffs?
I ain't killed nobody. I ain't done nothing.
A man considered armed and extremely dangerous by Little Rock police is off the streets tonight.
And as you can see here in this video, just shot 2 hours ago, police arrested Stephen Hayes. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Donna Terrell.
I'm Kevin Kelly. Investigators accused Hayes of killing one man and injuring another.
Fox 16's Hubert Tate is live at police headquarters with more on tonight's new developments.
Kevin, Donna, right now, Stephen Hayes is facing 3 felonies. Police took him into jail just after 7 tonight. He is being charged with first-degree murder, first-degree battery, and possession of a firearm, which are all felonies. Investigators have been searching for him all this week, and now they finally have him. He is accused of shooting and killing Shankoven Smith, plus injuring one other person. The crime happened on Elam Street around 6:30 Saturday. For days, the victim's family has waited for an arrest to happen. And now that there is one, they tell me they're ready to move forward.
It's going to take time. At this point in time, it's going to take time for us to heal. And today is a healing point for us because he's no longer on the streets hurting anybody else's child.
And again, Stephen Hayes is in jail tonight. Now, the family also tells me for days they have been very afraid because they didn't know whether Hayes would come after them. And now tonight, they can go to bed with a little more peace of mind. Reporting live here in downtown Little Rock, Hubert Tate, Fox 16 News.
Hubert, as you know, all week long, the relatives of both the victim and the suspect have pleaded for Hayes to turn himself in. Was that the case or not?
Well, Kevin, we're still working to get that information. They have not told us how they were able to catch him, but at this point, the family tells me they're just ready to move forward and happy that he is in jail.
Hubert Tate live tonight in Little Rock. Thank you very much.
A Fox 16 breaking news update that we told you about today at 5:30. A jury finds this man you're about to see, Bryce Allen, guilty of 3 different counts, including second-degree murder. This after running over and killing a Jacksonville firefighter and injuring another firefighter and a police officer in March of 2012. Fox 16's Aaron Nolan joins us live from the courthouse where he has spent most of the day. Aaron, what can you tell us?
Well, Donna, it has been a long day. 3 hours of deliberation, an hour on sentencing deliberation. But we can tell you right now, Bryce Allen will spend 70 years in the Arkansas Department of Correction for his role in the death of Captain Donnie Jones. It is the maximum penalty allowed for this crime. This is video of Allen heading back into the courtroom for sentencing. Allen very solemn throughout the final day of this trial. But it was a tough day, a very emotional day for the victims and their families. Lots of tears shed. Captain Jones' family did not want to speak to us on camera after the trial was ended, but he did issue a statement. The family did issue a statement through the Jacksonville Department.
We are pleased that the jury decided to hold Bryce Allen responsible for his actions, and we hope he will never be able to hurt anyone else again.
What's the thought, though, with 70 consecutive years for the crimes at hand?
That justice has been done. It's been served.
We can never replace a good person that we've lost.
We're very relieved to have it finally come to an end.
So again, a very long, emotional week for the victims and their families. But I do want to break down the sentencing of Bryce Allen. 30 years for the second-degree murder of Captain Donnie Jones, 20 years each for criminal attempt to commit murder. Again, 70 years now Bryce Allen will spend in prison. That is the maximum allowed for the crimes that he was charged and he did commit. Now, the Allen and his attorney has 30 days to file a formal appeal. Guys.
All right, Aaron Nolan, live for us tonight at the county courthouse. Thanks a lot.
Now, weather to plan your day with Fox 16 Chief Meteorologist Jeff Baskin.
Finally, seems like we're warming up a little bit. Temperatures back up near 50 today. The warmest has been pretty much this entire work week. A little bit of a warm-up coming our way, but it's not going to last. Still mostly clear skies across Arkansas right now, but clouds on the increase as we go through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning. Highs today warmer than it has been. Upper 40s near 50 degrees. Actually pretty close to average, which is in the low 50s for this time of year in central Arkansas right now. We've cooled back down into the low to mid 30s farther north, 40s farther south and west, mainly where we have that cloud cover starting to thicken up. That's where temperatures have not been falling as fast. And as that cloud cover increases across Arkansas tonight, and with winds out of the south, not nearly as cold as the last couple of nights, most areas in central Arkansas even staying above freezing tonight for a change. You can see those clouds starting to increase across the state. Still mostly just high-level clouds, but some of those mid and low-level clouds starting to increase across southwest Arkansas. The entire state shrouded in clouds for tomorrow morning, so a gray start, but really pretty dry. It's not going to be bad out there for the morning commute starting off your last day of the work week. And as we go towards the afternoon hours, even a few spotty showers out there, mostly very, very light sprinkle type stuff. But if you're too worried, you can bring an umbrella with you, but I don't think you'll really need it all that much as we go into the day tomorrow. Rain chances, I'm keeping the rain pretty scattered for tomorrow, only about 20% coverage as we go into during the day. Notice starting off well above freezing, so any frozen precipitation not a concern as we get towards about noon, up into the upper 40s, heading to the low 50s as we go towards later on during the day. Now coming up in a few minutes, this warm up is not going to last very long. As a matter of fact, a very cold pattern shaping up for the first week of February and a couple of opportunities for some winter weather across parts of the state. I'll show you where and what you can expect coming up in just a few minutes.
North Little Rock High students mourning a classmate murdered 1 year ago tonight. 17-year-old Jasmine Young was shot to death in the back of an SUV that had stopped to get gas on Asher.
Fox 16's Jocelyn Tovar met with the family on this very somber anniversary, and she joins us now live with more on what must have been a very tough day. Jocelyn.
Well, Jasmine's mother, Donna, tells us she hasn't stopped crying since she woke up this morning. Obviously, a very difficult day. However, she was able to share some stories of her daughter and talk about the lives she touched in her very short life. The chairs begin to fill in North Little Rock High's cafeteria. Pictures of 17-year-old Jasmine Young taped to the walls.
I don't feel like a parent should have to go through this, you know, having to bury their child.
A vigil for friends and family of Jasmine to share stories of her life.
Jasmine was so awesome. You were my
shed tears now that she's gone. Shot to death at just 17 years old, her only crime, being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
As we remember Jasmine, our diva, violence with guns is never a solution.
Her best friend Miranda and Jasmine's mother Pam Howard wanted to share memories with Fox 16 News.
She always made me wear dresses and skirts like her. We did everything together.
I hope they remember the spirit, the kindness and the nice spirit that she had.
To warn others of how quickly things can change.
Because I know it's hard for me, and it'll be hard for the next person to do.
They say if it can happen to someone like Jasmine, something needs to stop.
Everybody loved her. She was so sweet and kind to everybody.
3 suspects were arrested and charged with Jasmine's murder. One, only 17 years old. They face first-degree murder charges. The trial for the first is set to begin on the birthday of Jasmine's mother.
Obviously a lot of tears, but a few laughs and good memories there. But 17 years old, and even in that short span of time, she obviously touched a lot of people's lives.
Well, and as you said, just, you know, positive memories. Her and her mother they shared this really special relationship. They would dress alike, and they called each other pancakes. So just
oh, really?
Yeah, they had a really you know, loving relationship. It's just so sad. She was only a teen.
Yeah.
Her mother's very strong. It's hard to lose a child.
Very true.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thanks. A grass fire kept fire crews in North Little Rock busy for several hours this afternoon. This is video from earlier in the day of the fire. It's right near Forester Road. 4 different departments worked to get it under control, and we're told the flames got close to a house, but none of the buildings were damaged.
And this is a good time to remind you about the state's burn bans. Take a good look at this map. There is no burning allowed in all of the red counties, you say. Obviously, that's taking up a big chunk of the state. On top of that, burning is discouraged in all parts of the state. As you can see here, the majority of counties fall under the burn ban.
A recent study shows the minimum wage in Arkansas isn't enough. This coming from a group that's pushing to get it raised. Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families released a report which finds the state's minimum wage at $6.25 is lower than all but 8 states. The study also says someone working on Arkansas's minimum wage would have to work 63 hours a week just to afford a 2-bedroom apartment.
So we just really need to make sure that hardworking low-income families are making enough money to make ends meet.
A similar attempt to raise the minimum wage last spring at the state capitol didn't get a vote in the House. Well, the Arkansas Hospitality Association and State Chamber both opposed, saying the measure would hurt small businesses.
A big rig filled with thousands of pounds of sugar stuck under a railroad bridge in North Little Rock. Fox 16 Suzanne Bruner was on the scene as crews worked all day to remove that truck. So Suzanne, kind of walk us through this. How did this happen in the first place?
Well, crews there told me they say the driver most likely wasn't paying attention. You can see it right there lodged underneath this bridge. They say that they probably weren't paying attention to the signs that warn truck drivers of the bridge's height clearance. And there they go, removing it. This was the scene most of the day off Broadway and Pike. You can see the big rig crammed under this railroad bridge and crews working to remove dozens of bags of sugar from the truck. It had to be offloaded because the trailer had busted right in the middle and there was nothing they could do until the truck was clear. As you can see, if they are driving toward the bridge, it isn't hard to notice these warning signs on the road.
There's 2 signs. There's one on the bridge, and there's one before you get to the bridge that says 12'6". Most trailers are 13 or above. Most drivers should know that.
And crews on scene told me it's a sight they see too often at this bridge. So when they got the call to go out there, they knew exactly what had happened. But city officials told me this only happens on average once a year. And the city told me if they were to lower the road or raise the bridge to accommodate these oversized trucks, it would cost millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So.
Not a very sweet problem.
No, it isn't.
We get it. We get it. Yeah. Thanks, Suzanne.
All right, thank you. Well, we all know the dangers of drinking and driving. So why are so many people with as many DWIs as 14 still allowed behind the wheel? Fox 16's Drew Petrimo digs into the law, and he finds a loophole allowing some drunk drivers to avoid the stiffer penalties. This is a story you will see only on Fox 16 tonight.
Plus, it's a quiet night tonight, but on the other side of the weekend, well, that might be a different story. Jeff Baskin talks about the chances of some winter weather heading our way when Fox 16 News continues.
You're watching Fox 16 News at 9 with Donna Terrell, Kevin Kelly, sports with Wes Moore, and Chief Meteorologist Jeff Baskin. This is Fox 16 News at 9. You're watching Fox 16 News at 9, covering Sherwood, Maumelle, Little Rock, and all of Central Arkansas.
Federal prosecutors seeking the death penalty for the man accused in last April's Boston Marathon bombing suspect.
Today, Attorney General Eric Holder officially authorized the government to seek the death penalty in the upcoming trial for Zohar Tsarnaev. He has pleaded not guilty to all 30 federal counts stemming from the Boston attack. The bombing at the Boston Marathon last year killed 3 people and injured more than 250.
An Italian appeals court convicted former exchange student Amanda Knox and her boyfriend on murder charges. Prosecutors said the couple killed Meredith Kircher in November of 2007. They were convicted 2 years later of murder, but those charges were overturned on appeal in 2011. Knox has been sentenced to 28.5 years in prison. However, she may not have to serve that time in Italy because U.S. law says you cannot be tried for the same crime twice. Her ex-boyfriend's sentence was 25 years.
Now, weather to plan your day with Fox 16 Chief Meteorologist Jeff Baskin.
Warming up.
Yeah.
Unlike last night, I was able to get out there, like both of you, and was able to actually see what it felt like outside.
Shot at us?
She's saying that she went outside and we
what it felt like out there.
I didn't want to go outside.
Well, no, you guys typically get to go out, and I'm still in here.
I got to go see UALR, the Trojans game, for a little bit.
Oh, well, that was cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
And but you know,
Kevin, he gets around.
I guess so, but you know, it really wasn't as cold tonight. Temperatures. Whoa.
And you went to a UALR game. Lucky you.
All right, let's talk about the weather, shall we?
Just make a little note of that.
Move on?
Okay. Yes, please.
Oh, I'm in trouble now.
All right. My time has started.
Yes.
Okay, take it away.
Okay. All right. You know, yeah, today was warmer. We actually do have some mild temperatures heading into the weekend, especially Saturday. It's not going to last. We are talking about a return of winter, kind of big time, really, as we go into the first week of February. So after a brief warm-up, we are talking about the potential for some snow and sleet, especially across the northern half of the state as we go into Sunday. Starting to look like a little bit more of a significant event for parts of northern Arkansas and even into parts of central Arkansas. We may be looking at some snow as well. So we're going to be on top of this. And as we go into early next week, the potential for some ice across parts of the state. This would be more of a freezing rain concern. So one would be more snow. The second one would be more freezing rain. Satellite and radar showing some clouds increasing across the state, but no rain or snow or anything falling out of the sky tonight. We do have a disturbance coming out of the west, some milder temperatures out ahead of that, and also a cold front coming down from the north. You see a disturbance going through the Great Lakes, but that front is going to stall mainly to our north as we go into tomorrow. So that's going to allow some milder temperatures that you see to our southwest, still in the 50s across most of Texas. That milder air will overspread us for the first half of the weekend, and then that cold air comes rushing back in for the second half. So right now, temperatures much warmer than they were last night at this time, with above freezing in most spots. 36 degrees Mountain Home, down to freezing around Clinton, though. That's one of the colder spots. 39 Batesville, 36 around Searcy, mid-40s Central Arkansas, and 40 South, 48 in Camden, 39 in Monticello. Right now in Little Rock, 44 degrees, not much wind out there. Feels like 42. Let's take a look at our future satellite radar. Lots of clouds as we go into tomorrow. We're really not going to see much in the way of any sunshine tomorrow, but not a whole lot of rain. A couple of spotty showers, though, especially as we go towards the afternoon and evening hours. Notice our front stalls out across parts of northern Arkansas. Now, as we go into Saturday, showers start to increase as a stronger disturbance moves along our front. That's going to mean a few showers, especially just ahead of the front as we go into Saturday afternoon. So it is going to be a little wet out there. Probably want the umbrellas. Plan for a little bit of wet weather. Doesn't look like anything major, though. But as we go into Sunday, here comes that cold front moving on through, bringing in that colder air. At the same time, a fairly vigorous upper air disturbance is going to move on in from the west as we go towards Sunday evening. And with that colder air in place, predominantly snow across parts of north central Arkansas, a mixture of rain, sleet, and snow for parts of central Arkansas. And this looks like it's going to get all the way down potentially right into the Little Rock area. So this is something we'll need to watch if you're doing any traveling on Sunday. Say you're going to a Super Bowl party or Super Bowl game at your friend's place, and just be careful. Just pay attention to the forecast, because we could be looking at some deteriorating road conditions, especially across northern Arkansas. Too early to really pin down specific snow accumulations, but give you the general idea of where the snow potential here is. Mainly northern half of the state, and the potential for some very significant snows, as a matter of fact, for parts of northwest and north central Arkansas. Where exactly that heavier snow is going to set up and how heavy, again, still a little bit too far away to tell for sure, but there is that potential. Now, we're not done on Sunday, because as we go into Tuesday, we'll skip Monday. Monday looks okay, but as we go into Tuesday, another disturbance passes to our south. Cold air in place, and this is mainly going to be rain with some warmer air aloft. So anything that does fall into the colder air, which you see north of this red line, that's where we have the freeze line as indicated by the red. That would be mostly freezing rain. Some of the computer models have shown this freeze line well into central Arkansas. Some back it off into Missouri, but we're really going to have to watch that on Tuesday, because this is going to be fairly significant rainfall. So if any spot stays below freezing for too long, there would be the potential for some significant ice accumulation. So that's another thing to be concerned about into next week. So for tomorrow, at least not that bad. Just a lot of clouds around and not as cold. Mid to upper 30s for the morning hours, upper 40s as we go towards about noontime, with a couple of spotty showers out there, especially afternoon and evening hours. And notice for tomorrow evening, it stays pretty mild. I mean, here we are, 7 o'clock, and we're still in the upper 40s and lower 50s. It's really not going to cool down very much overnight Friday. Just a couple of spotty showers. So if you have any Friday evening plans, you can leave those heavier coats at home. You really won't need them for once. It's really just not going to be all that cold out. Take a look at that extended forecast. So we go into the weekend, near 50 for tomorrow. Look at Saturday, out ahead of that front. Yeah, pretty mild. We're talking about temperatures up into the 60s. It doesn't last. Look at Sunday. We're talking about snow for the northern half of the state likely. Again, we're going to have to pay close attention to how far south that snow gets, as it could get all the way through into central Arkansas. High temperatures only in the 30s, and we stay in the 30s for highs as we go into next week. Look at Tuesday. I have temperatures just barely above freezing, which would be okay. I mean, if we wound up at 33, 34 degrees all day Tuesday, it would be fine, but that's not likely to be the case across the entire state. So we're going to have to watch those temperatures closely, and then really cold as we go into the middle of next week. You can always keep on top of the forecast at Fox16.com. I put up a video on my Facebook page. Jeff, if you could just go to Jeff Baskin on Facebook, a little bit more detailed explanation of what kind of accumulations we may see on Sunday in terms of the winter weather.
Good to know. All right, we'll look for it.
Also, I'll link to it on Twitter, too.
Good. Okay, good deal.
And it'll be on Fox16.com.
Why, of course it will. Thank you very much.
We got you covered.
Thanks, Joe.
Well, we're only 3 days away from the big matchup that we've all been waiting for, but the game itself is just part of the excitement. We've got a Super Bowl halftime preview when Grammy winner Bruno Mars will rock the stage, and how you can get your hands on some concert tickets when he comes to Arkansas. Plus this.
With 100 kids in there, I just want at least one of them to walk out of there knowing that, okay, I can do this.
One Seattle Seahawk overcame a lifetime of doubters. The inspirational story of how a guy who can't hear a thing surprised all the people who told him he couldn't make it.
We're watching Fox 16 News at 9. Covering Hot Springs, Bryant, Little Rock, and all of Central Arkansas.
The spectacle that is the Super Bowl is more than just the game itself.
Because for a lot of people, halftime is game time.
Fox 16's John Kutchko joining us live once again with a preview of Bruno Mars's big Super Bowl moment. John, walk us through this one.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, they were rehearsing about 90 minutes ago here in the fireworks outside the stadium. We could hear the show, sounded very impressive. And, you know, as big as the game is itself, Super Bowl 48 or any Super Bowl, the halftime show for many people out there is just as big, if not bigger. And this year's selection of Bruno Mars was a bit of a surprise, but he seems up to the task.
Well, I never had to do a press conference before I performed, so it just got real, I guess.
At 28 years, Bruno Mars has performed on the big stage, but nothing like this, nothing like a Super Bowl.
It definitely came soon, but just honored, you know, because some greats have been on that stage, and we're just excited to, you know, that we're getting this shot.
The Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter was born and raised in Hawaii. Getting ready for this here has been an adjustment.
You never really know what you're going to expect. But when we got out there was a lot of things that happened, just like the microphone turns into a popsicle, and all these things that you don't really think about going into it, but I'm grabbing the mic and it's frozen. So it's just stuff like that that's we're taking into consideration and getting some heaters on everything.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Wish we did the same thing. And, you know, he joined some pretty elite company. Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, we remember that. Madonna, Paul McCartney, Bruce Springsteen, some pretty elite company when it comes to Super Bowl halftime entertainment, but he seems relaxed and welcomes a challenge that lies ahead on Sunday. I'm John Kutchko, live here in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where it's in the teens still. It's going to get better, I'm told. We'll talk to you later on.
I hope it will get better for you.
Need some heaters, yeah.
I'm curious. We see MetLife Stadium right there behind you. Have you actually been in the stadium already?
Not this week. They won't let anyone in, but I've been in it several times covering a lot of NFL games, and it is a wonderful facility, one of the top 2 or 3 stadiums in the NFL, without question.
Yeah, that's what we hear. It is quite impressive. Well, hopefully you'll get to go inside for the game.
Oh, yeah.
I will be there, trust me.
Okay,
it's a tough assignment. Yeah, with hand warmers.
You're going to need them.
Thanks, John. Good job, buddy. Appreciate it.
Fox 16 has your chance to see Bruno Mars in concert in Arkansas. Just head on over to the Fox 16 Facebook page on a computer or laptop and click on the contest tab to register. We'll select a winner tomorrow morning during Good Day from 7 to 9. And don't forget, Fox 16 is your home for Super Bowl 48. We are just how many, Kevin?
3 days, Donna.
3 days away from the big event.
Gotta like that. A statistic provided by Mothers Against Drunk Driving says more than 10,000 people a year die because of getting behind the wheel. And right here in Arkansas, we've had people behind the wheel with more than a dozen DWIs. The loophole in the law that allows this to happen when Fox 16 News continues.
Plus, how folks living out in the country are doing their part to help authorities crack down on crime.
You're watching Fox 16 News at 9. Covering Sherwood, Maumelle, Little Rock, and all of Central Arkansas.
Drunk driving. We all know how dangerous it can be, and recently we've reported on some offenders who have been racking up charge after charge after charge of DWI.
And we wondered how someone could get arrested so many times and then wind up back on the road. Fox 16's Drew Petrimo did some digging to find out, and this is a story you'll only see here on Fox 16.
When Sheila Blair was arrested in September of last year for driving drunk in Benton, it was the 11th time she'd been picked up for DWI since 1995.
It just gets to be a little bit frustrating sometimes if you have to deal with these people, over and over again.
Here's Edward Lockhart back in November, also in Benton, the mugshot taken after his 14th DWI.
The repeat drunk driver is one of the most dangerous things that you will encounter on your streets and highways today.
Blair and Lockhart are extreme examples, but activists, prosecutors, and even defense attorneys all acknowledge a loophole allowing some repeat DWI offenders to avoid harsher punishment.
But it's pretty common.
John Collins is a Little Rock attorney. 95% of the cases he handles are DWIs.
Do our clients sometimes benefit from it? Yes.
Consider this. DUI convictions 1 through 3 are misdemeanors, max sentence 1 year in county jail. But number 4 is a low-grade felony that can get you up to 6 years in prison. Here's how the loophole works. Say a driver is arrested for their 3rd DWI, then rearrested again for drunk driving additional times before the first case is resolved. All the cases go forward as misdemeanors until there's a conviction in one of them. With 3 DUI convictions on the books, the other cases should become felonies.
Sometimes it can be 2 to 3 years before just one DWI is actually resolved.
When cases, especially those in other jurisdictions, are finally closed, prosecutor Larry Jegley says his attorneys sometimes don't get the message to bump up charges.
Basically, it's a failure of communication.
In Arkansas's 75 counties, Jegley points out, there are countless law enforcement agencies and courts of all sizes with varying record-keeping and data entering capabilities.
There is not uniformity as far as the timeline by which information is input into the statewide system.
Teresa Ballou with Arkansas Mothers Against Drunk Driving says that's how some are able to rack up DWIs and avoid harsher punishments that should come with subsequent arrests. It's also why police officers continue to be frustrated with the system.
We have to deal with the aftermath of drunk drivers when they unfortunately cause accidents that severely injure or kill other people.
DUI repeat offenders, one of the most dangerous things on the road. In Little Rock, Drew Petrimo, Fox 16 News.
Prosecutors and MAD agree that increasing communication is the answer to closing the loophole. And prosecutors say recent changes are improving the situation. Now, the defense attorney that we spoke with argues better treatment for alcohol abusers is the best way to curb drunk driving.
One Central Arkansas community teaming up to help their law enforcement crack down on crime. It's a countryside neighborhood watch. The 16th section in the northern part of the county is leading the way in crime watches. Just about everywhere you look, you'll find Crime Watch signs and flyers.
This community has really pulled together and they want to fight crime, and their goal is to push crime out of their area.
Well, the woman who put the watch together says thefts of things like four-wheelers and boats are starting to go down because people call the Lonoke County Sheriff when they see something suspicious.
Deputies seized dozens of illegal guns in Jackson County. A tip from earlier this month led Jackson County Sheriff's deputies to a home on Mimosa Drive in Newport. When they arrived, this is what they found: 81 illegal firearms and nearly 20,000 rounds of ammunition, as well as other gun accessories. And what you see here in this picture, just a sample of what was actually seized. 69-year-old Donald Boyster turned himself in. He now faces several weapons-related charges in this case. The Seattle Seahawks literally have the world's loudest fans. They've broken world records just to prove it.
But for one player, he can't hear them at all. Instead, he feels them. The story of one Seattle Seahawk who lost his hearing at a very young age, but overcame adversity to silence all of his critics.
Covering Heber Springs, Stuttgart, Little Rock, and all of Central Arkansas.
The crunching of the pads, the howling roar of the fans, the music blasting over the loudspeakers, and the sound of a football game, all unmistakable.
But for those on the field, the level of concentration must be intense at all times, because at any moment the play can change. And if just one person is out of sync, it can mean the difference between winning and losing.
But what if the game actually sounded like this? Silent.
Well, that's exactly the case for one Seattle Seahawk. It's just quiet and silent.
Growing up in Seattle will make you a fan of the Seahawks. But something else is making these kids a fan of one Seahawk in particular, number 40.
He has hearing aids like me.
He's talking about Derek Coleman, who recently paid a visit to Listen and Talk, a program for kids with hearing loss. Coleman left a big impression on 5-year-old Corrigan Donaldson.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
I want to be a football player.
Coleman is the first deaf offensive player in the NFL, and as a fullback for the Seahawks, just happens to play in a stadium known for earth-shaking cheers that actually measure on the Richter scale.
Oh, it's great. I mean, like, their energy, basically more energy for us, more motivation.
Can you feel the fans?
Oh, yeah, I can feel them.
Coleman's hearing aids help on the field, but more than anything, he relies on reading lips.
It was my job to go out there and prove to everybody, basically what I'm doing now, that I can do the same thing that everybody else can do.
This is around 2 years old when we...
His mother knows it wasn't easy. Growing up, kids would tease her son, who has been deaf since age 3.
I would tell him, you know what, God made you like you are for a purpose and a reason, and you don't let anybody bring you down.
I was picked on and picked last.
Coleman's story of perseverance is now featured in a Duracell commercial that's gone viral.
Now I'm here with a lot of fans in the NFL cheering me on, and I can hear them all.
The ad is empowering hearing-impaired kids like Josh Masters, who dreams of playing college basketball.
We've both been put down. We've both been having setbacks just because we're deaf. But beyond that, we both kept on pushing.
And that is why Coleman shares his story.
With 100 kids in there, I just want at least one of them to walk out of there knowing that, okay, I can do this.
An inspiring message fans can hear, and most of all, feel.
Oh, what a story.
Yeah.
What a story.
And just one. I mean, if you get through to one,
then your work is done.
yeah, but that I don't know if you haven't had an opportunity to check out that video,
Commercial?
the Duracell.
Yeah.
Powerful, really strong. Yeah,
All right,
great job.
and of course, Fox 16 is where you can watch the game. We have a big announcement that will be on Fox 16 after the game that you want to stick around for.
Yeah, it's
huge
big.
announcement.
You haven't been telling people?
Huge. Oh, you can't tell anybody.
Oh, that's top
you
secret.
told some people?
Yeah.
Oh. No, you got to keep it to yourself for now.
No more.
Well, tell us what's coming up in sports.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. I know the players are tired of talking about it.
Sure.
Peyton Manning today responds to criticism from Richard Sherman. That's coming up. Also, we'll check on ASU and UALR. Both teams in action tonight. Plus, Detroit Tigers outfielder Torrey Hunter is back in Arkansas. Torrey tells us about his big event next in Fox 16 Sports.
Now, Fox 16 Sports with Wes Moore.
Busy night of college basketball around the state. We start with the UALR Trojans. They hosted Louisiana Lafayette. It was white out at the Jack Stevens Center. The students all fired up, painted up. Trojans get off to a good start. Ben Dillard knocks down the three. Trojans up 3-0. Dillard had 11 points. But right after that, the Raging Cajuns cranked it up. Trojans turn it over, and the one-handed slam gives Lafayette 16-6 lead. Devontae Smith leading the fast break finds Will Neighbor for the lay-in, 2 of his 24 points. Trojans start chipping away at that 10-point deficit. Smith out in front on another fast break. This time he takes it coast to coast. Trojans had a big second half. They win 80-69. They improved to 6-3 in the Sun Belt. John Brady and Arkansas State played Louisiana Monroe on the road. ASU gets the basket from Kirk Van Slyke. Van Slyke had 15 points tonight. ASU leads 26-25. Then Melvin Johnson III gets into the act. He had back-to-back three-pointers. Melvin Johnson III, 27 points, 8 boards, but it wasn't enough. Red Wolves lose by 7. The last time Monroe beat ASU, 2009. They lost 7 straight. ASU falls to 4-4 in conference play. It was a good night for the UCA men and women. Women beat McNeese State, and the men trailed by 2 with less than 5 seconds to play. LaQuinton Miles out of Jacksonville drives the length of the court, gets the basket, the foul, the free throw. They win by 1. One other score, the Ladybacks lost to number 10 Tennessee, 70-60. It's tough to look at the SEC basketball standings these days. 2-5 Arkansas is in 12th place, only ahead of South Carolina and Auburn. Next up is a road game against 4-3 LSU. The Tigers beat Kentucky Tuesday night at home. 5 of Arkansas's conference games came down to the wire. They lost 4 of them. Mike Anderson says they'll have to make those plays against LSU.
They're good. Like I said, with Johnny O'Brien inside and Mickey and them doing what they're doing, they're pretty quick. Hickey is pretty crafty. We know Stringer's a guy that can really knock down shots. But they have some other guys that Coleman's been playing well for. So they play with a lot of confidence, and they want to get up and down the floor. So it'll be a game where it should be an exciting game.
One of the really good guys is back in Arkansas raising money for a big project in his hometown. Torrey Hunter held the Home Runs and Heroes fundraiser at the Governor's Mansion. Cliff Lee was also on hand to help out. The money raised is helping complete the Torrey Hunter Sports Complex in Pine Bluff, but it's much more than building baseball parks. Torrey says the money will also help players get onto travel teams.
You have the travel leagues out there, the travel teams from all over travel and go into Pine Bluff and play these big tournaments. And also teams from Pine Bluff will get a chance to travel out. And I've been to Mexico, Korea, Venezuela, all over the country playing baseball, and I want to give these kids the same dream.
Great guy. Sticking with the baseball, the Travelers hosted their annual Hot Stove event. You may recognize this year's guest speaker, Los Angeles Angels manager Mike Scioscia. This is the first time the Travs hosted their big league manager. Scioscia was on hand to talk baseball and sign autographs. And you'll want to tune in tomorrow night. Our own Jason Snavely snagged an exclusive sit-down with the skipper. You can find that right here on Fox 16 tomorrow night at 9. Former Razorback kicker Zach Hocker got some big news recently. He is one of the select few kickers invited to the NFL Combine. Zach broke the news on my radio show today. Zach showed off his leg at the East-West Shrine game, and he'll get another chance in Indianapolis in a few weeks. Zach says it'll be a big challenge working with different holders and snappers.
I want to really focus on getting in there mentally and, adapting to the other guys there in that position that are going to be snapping and holding for me because, when it comes down to it, that's what it boils down to. If you can make a kick, with a live snap and a live hold, not, with a manual holder. And so nonetheless, I want to make all my kicks, but I really want to focus on that live session and just show that I have a good operation time and I can still hit a decent ball with guys that I haven't worked with in the past. I can adapt fast to them.
Earlier this week, Seattle's Richard Sherman made more news when he wrote that Denver's Peyton Manning throws ducks or wobbly passes. Yesterday, Sherman didn't back away from that assessment. Today, Manning was asked about Sherman's criticism.
I believe it to be true as well. He said he's a smart player, and I think that's a real reach what he's saying there. I do throw ducks. I've thrown a lot of yards and touchdowns, ducks, and so I'm actually quite proud of it.
Manning versus Sherman. That'll be fun to watch. Stick around. We'll be right back.
All right, Jeff.
All right. I think that's it.
Okay.
Thank you so much for watching Fox 16 News at 9. See, he just, boom. All right, Jeff, walking us through it.
So
That's how it's done. Boom.
Wait, I thought...